Hello, wise and wonderful being. I'm Jacqueline Gertz of EmpoweredConsciousness.com. I'm also the author of the book The Unthinkable Has Happened, a guide for the young widow. I want to talk to you today about your flaws, right? Right? And the reason I want to talk about it is because if you will allow yourself to make that shift in perception, you can shift your life. Right? So we're always hiding behind this facade because we think that we have to be perfect, and we think that we're going to be judged, and we think that, oh my God, if I don't have it all together and look absolutely perfect, and I don't want to sound stupid and all of these things. So we're all playing this role instead of being who we truly are. So I invite you to look at your flaws and see the gifts in them. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a story behind that so you know what I'm talking about. When I was about 3 years old, I had the good fortune to be hit in the eye with a stick. Now, granted, my family probably did not think that was such a great thing to happen, and I'm sure my brother, who was on the other end of that stick, also did not see the good fortune in that. However, that's another story altogether. But, having had that happen, the stick went in the eye, there was hemorrhaging behind the eye, and the eye was left with almost complete blindness. Okay, now the only thing I remember about it was there was many, many visits to the doctor, the ever-present eye patch, and I was always told as soon as the blood behind the eye is absorbed, the vision will return. Unfortunately, that never happened, right? So I learned to live in a two-dimensional world, which isn't such a bad thing, because when it happens at a very young age like that, you compensate and you just move on, and you don't really know what it's like to live any other way. The thing about it is, though, is when you only have one eye, you live in a two-dimensional world, meaning you have no depth perception, right? Which to this day can still cause some problems. I hate buffets because I can never see how far it is from the plate to my plate, right? Or if I'm going to pour something into a glass, I might miss the glass because you can't tell if it's a few inches or several feet, right? So, and they let me drive. Can you believe it? But anyway, yes. So you do learn to compensate. I even played. I played squash, which is a lot like racquetball. I was in the tournament many times. I won cups. I did baton twirling. I did all kinds of things. So what I wanted to tell you, though, is that there really was no downside to this whole thing, other than the fact, because of the blow to the eye, my left eye was left sticking straight out to the side, right? So when my right eye was looking forward, the left would be looking out to the side. When you're a young child in school, that can be very painful because children are cruel. Right? They're cruel. I came home in tears many, many, many times. But that all changed when at about 9, I was able to have surgery and it straightened it. So for the most part, it will follow now. Great. But what I want to share with you is the lessons that were hidden in that experience. One, I learned that I'm not a victim. I can do anything I desire to do, anything I choose to do, if I decide to. All I have to do is focus on it and decide to do it. Now, it may take some extra effort, it may take some extra practice, but I can do it, right? So that's the first thing. The other thing is, because of all the teasing and the things that went on at school, I taught my children to never, ever make fun of someone for something they can't help. That's just not okay. You don't do that. So those are two really big lessons. Like I said, I learned to do things like acrobatics on uneven parallel bars. I was in baton twirling contests, where you throw it up and catch it. You have to have depth perception for that. I did it anyway. So that's actually the smaller lesson I learned. The big lesson is to have more compassion for other people. So when people are doing things that you think are annoying, maybe they're having trouble parking their car, or maybe they're making a really wide turn, or they're doing some other annoying behavior, I would ask that you remind yourself and just remember, they may not have the same faculties as you do. They may have their own limitations, and that's okay, right? So when you have that compassion, it may seem like a small thing, but it makes this world a little gentler. And, as I go through life and I see people getting so upset about silly little things, I try to remind them. I smile and I remind them. It's like, you know what? It's okay. People are not intentionally out to aggravate you. Well, not usually. But they're just doing the best they can with the resources they have. And that's okay. That's okay. So look into your flaws. Look into things that you perceive as your limitations or your flaws. Look for the gifts in them. Look for the treasures there. You will find them. You will definitely find them. There's a reason why you've been allowed to experience these things. So I want you to take those treasures and embrace that and shift your perception, and you will shift your life. So I leave you with this last thought. Remember when your mother said, it's all fun and games till someone loses an eye? That's absolutely true. When that happens, it becomes a life lesson. I'm Jacqueline Gertz, the Goddess Guide.